so good to be back here in South Carolina, home of the Gamecocks.
The iron keeps on, soars in from the weak side, however, and flushes that down.
There it is.
Driven hard, the Gamecocks will take the series against their rival.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Gamecock Insider. I'm your host, Derek Scott. We're at Colonial Life Arena, where postseason basketball is once again just around the corner. As we get things started on this week's episode, we will, as you might imagine, be talking some Gamecock women's basketball, but we've got a lot more to get into as well, including a special look at an event recently hosted for the Beamer Family Foundation. You will definitely want to stick around for that and lots more as well. We, of course, as always, will begin with our Prisma Health injury update, and the focus there is with Gamecock baseball and specifically one position, that being catcher, because for South Carolina, starting catcher Talmadge LeCroy is dealing with a broken bone in his right thumb. It was suffered, ironically, on opening day. He's played with it. He has taken some time off. He's come back and returned to the lineup, but it is still certainly something that they're watching very closely to see how he manages, both in terms of swinging the bat and throwing the baseball. Meanwhile, one of his backups, freshman Gavin Brayland, in playing some in the absence of LeCroy a couple weeks back, suffered a severely sprained ankle down at the Citadel, and it has not been quick to heal. He's still in a boot at this point and unavailable. So the Gamecock catching brigade continues to be under fire, shall we say, and having to try and monitor and manage the pain as best they can. And that is your injury update, and it is brought to you by Prisma Health, the official team physicians of the Gamecocks. Of course, if we're here and it's March, you know we've got some good news to share, some great memories to go over once again as it relates to Gamecock women's basketball. I mean, it wouldn't be this time of year if Gamecock fans don't have a chance to spend a long weekend in Greenville watching the Gamecocks win yet another SEC tournament championship.
In Greenville, South Carolina, it is quarterfinals day of the SEC tournament. South Carolina and the 8th seed Vanderbilt. For Wiley the steal at the horn. You bet. But a 16-0 South Carolina run to finish this game and head to the SEC semifinals. Here we go, Oklahoma and South Carolina, a trip to the SEC championship on the line, and we are underway. Spears has it stolen by Dowda. Beautiful pass to Dowda. South Carolina is headed back to a familiar place, the SEC title game.
WWE, the will to win with everybody. It'll take all of us for 40 minutes to do it. WWE, let's go win this battle.
Kitts and Jones to jump it up, and the SEC championship game is underway. It's great position. The finish of the foul. Here comes South Carolina for Wiley to the cup. That's the foul. Back to Fagan, to the corner, Johnson's three, is good! Still time, now to Fagan, her three, is good! And for the third straight year, South Carolina, champions of the SEC!
Well, that's 3 in a row, and 9 times in the last 11 years that Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks have won the SEC tournament championship. And boy, we're not done yet with that bunch. We know that much. March Madness is here and coming here to Colonial Life Arena. We're back with more of the Gamecock Insider in just a moment from Learfield.
Gamecock Insider is brought to you by Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider of the Gamecocks. And by Backstreet's Grill. Join us every Thursday at Backstreet's Grill on Divine Street, where Carolina calls from 6 to 7 p.m. Visit backstreetsgrill.com to learn more about their unique food and drink options.
I know what it takes to build a winning team, and I see that shining brightly every day in our long-standing partnership with Prisma Health. As our official team physicians, Prisma's commitment to helping our players achieve their best gives us an advantage every time we take the court. Prisma is illuminating a better view of health from every angle for all of our Gamecock athletes and for the communities across South Carolina and beyond. There's nobody our team trusts more, as together we see a healthy, hopeful way forward.
Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP experience this baseball season. Visit usccontest.com and register for your chance to be Cocky's game day guest. Winners will get a special invitation to a game, an autographed baseball and ball cap, 2 premium tickets, a trip to the radio booth, and more. Visit usccontest.com to register today. Cocky's Game Day Guest is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, here for all your auto, home, and life insurance needs.
They say home is where the heart is, and that's never been more true than it is right here.
Right now, in Colonial Life Arena. Colonial Life reminds us to stand together, no matter what.
And to lift each other up, both in support and celebration.
And the Gamecocks win!
So, if you're a Colonial Life policyholder,
Business owner, community partner,
or a fellow fan,
thank you.
Because you make this house
Our home.
Sound and Images has been providing the Midlands and South Carolina with professional audio-visual services for over 40 years. Now we're home to one of the most advanced venue and meeting spaces in the state. Experiencing the latest in video conferencing, live streaming, and virtual presentations at the new Sound and Images Business Center. We have space for every need, from smaller personal rooms to large rooms for conferences and events. Conveniently located just a few minutes from downtown. Elevate your AV and call Sound and Images today.
Welcome back to Gamecock Insider, everybody. The South Carolina softball team has been quite the story. Now that SEC play is underway, they are nationally ranked. Had a rough first weekend, only in terms of the fact that they could not quite get over the hump and get a victory against the number 1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners. But that didn't really slow the momentum down whatsoever for a team that is trying to make believers out of all of us.
The SEC record hasn't been great here recently. How do you change that trajectory? What's the process of that like, especially adding Oklahoma and Texas in there too?
Yeah, a tall task, right? I was thinking about this the other day because I got asked a similar question, and I think we love really great competition. So we're going to welcome those opportunities to play the best as we become one of the best. It's my job to instill the belief in them that they can be anyone they play. Now for me, just to watch our current team put on the Carolina uniform and really go out and believe that they're the best and that they're going to be anyone they play, I think that's what it's going to be about.
The ceiling is so high for this team, and there's just an energy around the locker room. This is a team that is turning things completely around.
Here back to the wall, touch them all! Walk-off home run for Brooke Blankenship. High in the sky and out of the park. Misses, Watch strikes again. South Carolina's in front.
Wow, that's a great piece right there, and we're really excited about what is going on with that softball program as they get into the thick of things in the Southeastern Conference race. Now let's talk a little bit about our Terminix Pest Player of the Game. Well, if Chloe Kitts is good enough to bring home SEC Tournament Most Valuable Player, she's good enough for us, right? 16.7 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game. 74% field goal percentage, not bad, over a 3-game stretch up in Greenville. Chloe Kitts, our Terminix Pest Player of the Week. And we are back with more of Gamecock Insider in just a moment from Learfield.
Lease a new 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5 for just $379 a month for 39 months. Toyota, let's go places.
What does farm to table mean to you? Fresher, tastier food? Sitting down with family and friends at local restaurants? Sure, but thanks to South Carolina farmers and chefs, you can enjoy farm to table anywhere. That's because when you buy certified SC, you're supporting South Carolina farmers and getting locally grown food that's perfect for whatever table. So choose local, choose fresh. It's a matter of taste.
They say home is where the heart is, and that's never been more true than it is right here.
Right now, in Colonial Life Arena. Colonial Life reminds us to stand together no matter what.
And to lift each other up, both in support and celebration.
And the Gamecocks win!
So, if you're a Colonial Life policyholder,
business owner, community partner,
or a fellow fan,
thank you.
Because you make this house
our home.
Sound and Images has been providing the Midlands and South Carolina with professional audio-visual services for over 40 years. Now we're home to one of the most advanced venue and meeting spaces in the state. Experiencing the latest in video conferencing, live streaming, and virtual presentations at the new Sound and Images Business Center. We have space for every need, from smaller personal rooms to large rooms for conferences and events. Conveniently located just a few minutes from downtown. Elevate your AV and call Sound and Images today.
Good hard work has earned Jelani Sarr the title of Colonial Life Academic Athlete of the Week. A member of the men's tennis team, Sarr is a retailing major at South Carolina. This week's Academic Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Colonial Life. Colonial Life, the benefits of good hard work.
Then you get South Carolina playing in their playground.
Yes.
Out in transition. Another turnover from Oklahoma. Johnson banks it in, plus the foul.
That is your Sansbury. Did you see that play? Ironically, Tessa Johnson may not have seen that play because her back was to the basket about the time that the ball went off the glass and into the hoop. An amazing bucket and the foul for Tessa as South Carolina picked up the semifinal win at the SEC tournament against Oklahoma. Switching gears now to some Gamecock football, but in reality, some Gamecock community, because when you talk about what's going on with the Beamer Family Foundation, it goes so much deeper than just the gridiron. Recently at Williams-Brice Stadium, head coach Shane Beamer and the folks who run the foundation brought together a bunch of youngsters in the Columbia community to teach them a lot more, not just about Gamecock football, but about life.
Well, what an unbelievable day. It's hard to put in words and capture the experience today. The third annual Beamer Family Foundation Symposium for Boys. We're going to have a ton of fun this morning. How many people want to have a lot of fun today? Starting with some of the most significant dignitaries in our town, from the mayor to our attorney general to obviously the head football coach to the sheriff.
And when you talk about going the distance, you're giving them a goal to go towards. And I think that's the most important thing, because if you just say you're going to do something, but there's no goal, you can't hold yourself accountable and those who are helping you accountable. And of course, the Beamers are part of Columbia's fabric, and their family foundation, by investing back in their community, shows their commitment. And I think that's why you see success on and off the field with Coach Beamer.
I think the big takeaway today was really young people getting to see, feel, touch, experience, and hear from people that are influencers and movers and shakers in our community.
We just finished up an awesome day here, getting the chance to meet the players, the coaches, our scholars, to come out and actually see it and touch it. Now it materializes for them and it means more to them.
I know what it takes to build a winning team, and I see that shining brightly every day in our long-standing partnership with Prisma Health. As our official team physicians, Prisma's commitment to helping our players achieve their best gives us an advantage every time we take the court. Prisma is illuminating a better view of health from every angle for all of our Gamecock athletes and for the communities across South Carolina and beyond. There's nobody our team trusts more, as together we see a healthy, hopeful way forward.
Lease a new 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5 for just $379 a month for 39 months. Toyota, let's go places.
You've never been afraid to put in the work. The extra early, extra late, extra work. Because you understand that education is the key that unlocks everything. Better pay, better hours, better opportunities, a better you. And playing the lottery is no different. Getting educated before you play gives you the tools you need to be a better player. Like knowing when to play and when to take a rain check. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to be a better player.
Welcome back to Gamecock Insider, everybody. I'm Derek Scott. Tailgate Talks, you know about it. It's on Gamecocks Plus. It is the weekly podcast that's put together by former Gamecock football greats Pat DeMarco and Steven Garcia. And recently they sat down with a more recent vintage of Gamecock great, Nick Emanwari, to find out more about his experience both here with the Gamecocks as well as recently at the NFL Combine.
All right, Tailgaters, we are joined here by an absolute stud, one of Columbia's finest, born and bred, Gamecock great, about to make a huge impact on some NFL franchise here shortly. Man, appreciate you joining us.
Yep, man, glad to be here, man.
Every time I pick up my phone and I'm looking at something sports, like your name comes across the board right now for what you just accomplished last week. I mean, you jumped 43 inches, you ran sub 4.4. You're an avatar. You absolutely crushed it. And super proud of you. I mean, and I think all Gamecock Nation knew that we were about to see the display that you had, but you showed it to the whole world. So congrats, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. It was a fun process. Combine, got there on Monday, did everything on Friday. So it was kind of like, had to wait the whole week. It was stressful a little bit, but I kind of knew what was going to happen. So I was just waiting for the reaction. So,
yeah, I mean, I think a big piece to that is like you, and credit to Coach Day and Coach Chip Morton, but they kind of put you guys through like an NFL Combine during your off season, during your time in college. So you've kind of experienced the stress. You went through the drills. You kind of mastered it before you went out, and you did your training out in California. I imagine that's where you're at right now. Are you still training there?
Yeah, still training, but I'll be back on the East Coast doing some more like one-on-one.
Nick, where'd you train at out there?
The Mark. It's like a little, it's like a rooftop apartment building, seats only. So it was like a good little crew.
Yeah, bougie. That's that California life.
California life. It was real. California's a different place, man. It's a lot of.
Yeah, it is.
Great place to be, but the traffic was horrible. So I'm good with Columbia. 5 o'clock rush hour is nothing crazy, but out here you get stuck in traffic. You won't get home till 7, so kind of sucks. But
yeah, well, we know you'll end up back on the right coast when it's all said and done. But dude, let's dive into a little bit like your kind of recruiting path and what brought you to Carolina, because I was in the building when you committed and all that, but it like you were a late ad. You weren't committed for a year. Kind of a late bloomer. So tell us about kind of that experience and playing high school ball right here in Columbia and what that meant.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Coach White sent me a text my junior year summer going into my senior year, and he was just like, "Oh, we got our eyes on you as a staff."
Mm-hmm.
The state of South Carolina as a whole is probably like a little bit under recruited. A lot of guys,
Yep.
go unnoticed and stuff. So I just fell right along into that narrative. But COVID kind of messed up my recruiting process, me not going out to camp. So a lot of things like impacted that a lot. But I remember Coach White sending me that text, and that's all I needed really to like get myself going. And I just remember I went to the camp. They wanted me to come out to camp and put on a great camp showing there, and they offered me on the spot. And then the rest was history, man. So I went up to Carolina, thankful and blessed for Coach Beamer, Coach White and them, giving me an opportunity, and I just needed a platform because I knew my team to do what I needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, as a 3-star, what schools were we competing with? I mean, obviously we're 20 minutes from where you grew up, so I imagine you were probably just waiting on it. But what other schools were you considering before we pulled the trigger?
Yeah, at the time, like right before signing day, I just remember a bunch of schools like trying to reach out to me and trying to like get flipped like a week or two before signing day. But before that, it was probably too late. But I was really competing. South Carolina was my only Power 5 offer, so I only had I had like UNC Charlotte, Georgia Southern, and some others like smaller schools. But it was
Well, I mean, just because I have some intel because I was in the building, but I remember after you came and worked out at that camp, like there were conversations had about like, but he doesn't have all these big other offers. What are we missing here? What are we missing here? And Coach White was like, the Joker looks different and better than everybody else we have in the building. I don't give if he doesn't have other offers. Like, I trust myself as a coach. I trust T. Gray. I trust the strength staff to develop this kid into the player I think he can be. And here we are 3 years later, and look at this stud.
Yeah, man. I appreciate Coach White for that, man. I remember hearing that story. I'm not taking no shots at nobody, but it was a person in the building. He's not there anymore. He doesn't work on it, but I heard he wasn't really too big on me when I went to my camp and did my little camp showing. So it's crazy that Coach White took a chance on me, man, and just trusted his gut. I mean, he's right. I don't know how I would really want to know this. I was 6'3". I came into college like 211. I was fast on tape, so it was just one of those coincidences. I think 24/7 Sports, like, they just had something against me or something. Because I remember DM me on Twitter like back in high school. It was like, "Hey, bro, can you send me your highlights?" But COVID messed up. We didn't have like our first 3 games due to COVID, so I was like, I don't really have any clips to show you. So we never been in contact. Rated 3-star. And then that was the end of it.
I mean, you and I are pretty similar athletes. I think I was probably the same gauge, like a little under the radar. You look at my physical appearance and you're intimidated. You watch me run and you're like, oh my gosh, like is he running or walking? But I mean, yeah, Nick, did you came in here as a freshman and made an immediate impact? You stepped in. We're playing on the defense, starting defense right away. We're a freshman All-American. You and your compadre, DQ Smith, really had a yin and a yang relationship. You guys felt off each other, played with each other. So, yeah, you proved a lot of people wrong. And I think the credit to you of like kind of blocking out the noise in the background and saying like, man, I'm here. I got my opportunity. It's time to go grind.
Yeah, man. It was, looking back, it was a crazy story. It almost seems like it could be in a movie or a documentary, but came in as a freshman. I always knew I was going to play. I always knew I had the talent to play, but like that learning curve from high school to college, it was a little bit of not a challenge, but it was like something new. Like, like plays and like learning like every little all the little details and stuff. So Coach Gray and Coach White, they did a great job.
You've never been afraid to put in the work. The extra early, extra late, extra work. Because you understand that education is the key that unlocks everything. Better pay, better hours, better opportunities, a better you. And playing the lottery is no different. Getting educated before you play gives you the tools you need to be a better player, like knowing when to play and when to take a rain check. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to be a better player.
Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP experience this baseball season. Visit usccontest.com and register for your chance to be Cocky's game day guest. Winners will get a special invitation to a game, an autographed baseball and ball cap, 2 premium tickets, a trip to the radio booth, and more. Visit usccontest.com to register today. Cocky's Game Day Guest is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, here for all your auto, home, and life insurance needs.
Sound and Images has been providing the Midlands and South Carolina with professional audio-visual services for over 40 years. Now we're home to one of the most advanced venue and meeting spaces in the state. Experiencing the latest in video conferencing, live streaming, and virtual presentations at the new Sound and Images Business Center. We have space for every need, from smaller personal rooms to large rooms for conferences and events. Conveniently located just a few minutes from downtown. Elevate your AV and call Sound and Images today.
What does farm to table mean to you? Fresher, tastier food? Sitting down with family and friends at local restaurants? Sure, but thanks to South Carolina farmers and chefs, you can enjoy farm to table anywhere. That's because when you buy certified SC, you're supporting South Carolina farmers and getting locally grown food that's perfect for whatever table. So choose local, choose fresh. It's a matter of taste.
Gamecock Insider is brought to you by Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider of the Gamecocks, and by Backstreet's Grill. Join us every Thursday at Backstreet's Grill on Divine Street, where Carolina calls from 6 to 7 p.m. Visit backstreetsgrill.com to learn more about their unique food and drink options.
Back to wrap things up on this week's edition of Gamecock Insider. It's time for On the Road, our weekly segment brought to you by Toyota, in which we preview the Gamecock teams that are headed out away from Columbia. We're going to get into some golf this week on the Road because the Gamecock men's and women's team will both be leaving Columbia. One will be going out of state. That would be the men. The tournament is the Linger Longer Invitational. Try and say that 3 times fast. That is over at Lake Oconee at Reynolds Plantation. Meanwhile, the Gamecock women's team will stay in state and may even be the host of this event, but it's not in Columbia, so we're going to consider part of our On the Road segment. It is match play at the fabulous course known as Old Barnwell. And do not forget, Gamecock baseball will be headed out on the road for the first time in SEC play as well as they go out to Fayetteville to take on another nationally ranked team in the Arkansas Razorbacks. And that is On the Road, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. That also is all for us. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Gamecock Insider. I'm Derek Scott, and we'll see you again next time.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.